Hello, everybody.
There we go. Hi, everyone. So we're just gonna wait a bit. Okay. Hi, everybody. You're welcome. Welcome to the week we have been waiting for. Please let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm really excited about that. Please let me know if you can hear me. Alrighty. Okay, thank you so much, Ibukun. Ibukun, how are you? All right, thank you. We can hear you. Right, great, awesome. So Mr. Wright is on, so we're going to jump right into it. Thank you, Shiju Odwayo. Thank you so much. Emeka is not in my studio, but I get ready to come out in the studio. But so good to have everybody here. So we're just going to say a word of prayer. We're going to have a great time. We're talking about mentorship, and this is not just for like looking at it in terms of how it affects every area of our lives. Do you understand? Looking at it on all grounds. So we're going to be having frank conversations. We're going to be asking questions, and I'm so excited that there's no other person that is coming on this journey with me other than Mr. Sheyi Wright. And yesterday when we did the dry runs, you agree with me what Mrs. Migwekwe said about meeting him 15 years ago and how it was a blessing, to R. And I met him 6 years ago and have the same testimony, and it's been a progressive journey for us. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to invite Mr. Wright, and we're going to have a great time. I'm seeing a Bimbola Wright. Please, are you related to Mr. Wright? So we can give a big shout out to you. Please just type, are you related to Mr. Wright? Let me know so we can give you a big shout out and say thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Please tell your friend, notify them that we are on. Sorry, give me a minute. I need to make sure my phone was... Sorry about that. So sorry about that. I thought I put my phone on flight mode already. So I'm going to get right to it. We're going to say a word of prayer, and then I'm going to invite Mr. Wright. So I said I saw a Bimbola Wright. I don't know if I'm not putting you on the spot. If you're related to Mr. Wright, please let us know, so I can give a very big and warm shout out. Okay, so let's say a word of prayer. Our dear Father, we just thank you for an amazing time, opportunity to learn. We thank you, oh God, for what you're doing in spite of all that is happening in our environment. We thank you because we see the change. We're seeing things turn around. And we thank you that this will begin the journey of life-changing situations in the lives of people in the name of Jesus. And at the end of the day, we'll have reasons to thank you and glorify your holy name. Amen. So I'm going to be inviting Mr. Wright so we can jump right into it. Once again, you're welcome. Welcome to this conversation. We're talking about mentorship. We're going to talk about mentorship. We're going to be asking questions. How do you pick mentors? How do you outgrow mentors? Yeah. Hi, Mr. Wright. Good to see you. So good. Yeah. Raising the phone up a bit. Yes. Perfect. We're good. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Yay! Thank you so much for coming around.
It's a great pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for yesterday. Yesterday was so good as well. All right, so let's jump right into it. So, want to start? I want you to please introduce yourself for those that do not know you or have not met you before.
Okay, my name is Sheyi Wright, and I'm a consultant. I help people in building capacity, and of course provide consulting service organizations. I was in the banking industry. I've been an entrepreneur for about 22 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm married, 3 kids. Yes, we'd like to know more. We can
ask as we go on. All right, thank you so much for asking. First, I want to say thank you so much for... can we start by recounting what happened? I met you when I was in the bag, and that day I sat down in the training room wondering, the ed office, yeah, that's what it's called, yeah. And I was just wondering what I was doing there. Some people were wondering, why are you wondering what you're doing there when you're seated there? Well, I was there and I was wondering what was going on. I'm trying to see how this aligns with my life. And then you walked in that day, and you without too much of, there was no dramatic entry. Do you get me? It was just you walked in, but I could tell that there was something different. The way people accorded you respect or something wasn't anything dramatic, like master, that kind of thing. And then you just started by saying, oh, it's so good to see you all. Life is like a book. I will never forget this. I've said this over and over again. They say life is like a book, and for some of you, this would be a chapter. It could be a chapter, it could be a page, it could be the entire book, it could be half of the book, but whatever it is, make sure you make the best out of it and write it well, something like that. And that was so profound for me, and it became a driving force for me. And even when I had to transition out of the bank, it was so good. So thank you so much for what you do and what you did and back then. So let's jump right into it. So what to you, mentorship, what comes to mind? We're in the day and age where everybody, most times, a lot of us get messages like, please be my mentor and all of that. I remember when I sat in your office years ago as well to ask you if you'd be my mentor. It didn't go directly that way. I was asking you a lot of questions, you know. I was asking you, Star, so what do you think mentorship is? So I want to start with that. Can you just shed light? What is mentorship? What comes to mind? And yeah, what should we look out for? So.
Well, if I can just simplify it, because it can get complicated. One thing about mentorship is someone providing guidance, direction for another person. It could be an elderly person providing guidance to a younger person, or a younger person providing guidance to an elderly person. A mentor usually has more experience and knowledge in a particular area, and maybe the origin of mentorship would also help. I mean, it's Greek mythology. It was about Odysseus telling his son, Telemachus, to stay with Mr. Mentor. And of course, when he went to for the Trojan War, Telemachus stayed with Mr. Mentor and developed him while his father was at war. So by the time he came back, obviously, the child had grown and his ways of life had been guided by mentor. And that's why you have mentoring. And this happened thousands of years ago. But up to now, it's very relevant. Yes. Wow.
So the name, I remember you told me the story. So the word mentor is actually the name of someone.
Yes.
That over the years, maybe because of his contribution in the life of the young chap, and so it's a transition even in our history, and we refer to people that give guidance, mentor. So now, how do you choose a mentor? Considering also putting in mind the social construct we have now, is it by, how do you know who you should go to? How do you pick a mentor? I mean, aside from praying about it, what are the things you need to look out for in picking mentors? And for instance, I give an instance now. Some people will meet, certain people might, maybe they don't even have online following. Maybe they have just 20 people following them. And then I know that we're also in this dispensation where it's like people really want to see results, and somehow maybe following is now also part of the results people want to see in picking mentors. So I just wanted to tell us practically, how do you pick mentors and how has that helped you? Maybe a practical example for you.
Well, in picking mentors, sincerely, there can be various approaches depending on various circumstances. But let's push it back a bit. Most people that pick good mentors know what they want in life.
Oh, wow.
They know that the person that should be their mentor is supposed to add value to their own personal growth. If you don't know what you want as a person, they cannot pick a good mentor.
Oh, wow.
They're likely to pick a role model as a mentor, or pick someone that you admire as a mentor. No. Selecting a mentor is actually a very intricate process. You have to study the person. First of all, you have to know what you want. You have to have a life purpose. You have to have your goals, long-term, medium-term, short-term goals. You have to know how the mentor will fit in. You have to know the particular area of need that you have. So this mentor could be on leadership. It could be on values of life. You can have 3 or 4 or 5 mentors in different areas. So in selecting one person, you are saying, okay, I want to grow my ability to relate to people. And I know this person, I've studied this man or this woman over a period of time. I can see the experience, I can see the wisdom. I can see, maybe you're spiritually oriented, I can see he or she is God-fearing. And so you can have 2 or 3 people you have in mind for that area, and you are interviewing them, so to speak, from a distance. You are assessing them.
Wow.
And then you can even decide to speak to 1 or 2 of them without necessarily saying, I want you to be my mentor. Because the number of people who go for, ceremonies or functions, they see someone speak very well. I want you to okay, it's not bad, but I would advise that you first of all have a meeting with that person outside of the stage. Because the stage can give an impression that is not necessarily the same thing. So have a meeting, discuss, post 1 or 2 questions to that person, and see how the person responds. It may be fantastic, but it may not be suited for you. So I think the compatibility is important. The qualities of a mentor, maybe if you also know the qualities of a mentor, I believe a mentor should have good communication skills, a caring person, someone that is people savvy, someone that can tell you the truth, someone that can give feedback, someone that is has empathy, assertive person, someone that will show up himself or herself, someone that can move away from self-centeredness to selflessness. I mean, you can list all the qualities that I believe are vital. Yeah, that's so. It's an intricate process, more intricate than most people say it.
Wow. Wow. You said something very powerful about how sometimes you could pick role models thinking you're a mentor. And then you said, go away from the stage. I see that happen a lot. Sometimes we go out, and this is not in any way to discredit anyone, because I believe we're all work in progress. But I've seen people that when you get close to them, you realize that their life on stage is completely and totally different from who they are, meaning that their values it doesn't align with your own values, as it were. So can you shed light about, sometimes you said that it's different, role models are different from mentors. You can go to a place, and then you when you get there, you end up picking a role model as against a mentor. Can you just briefly shed light on that?
Okay.
Difference between role models and mentor.
See, the role model is someone that you want to imitate. You just see the person. I like the personality of this person. I like the way he speaks. So it's a role model in terms of public speaking. A role model in terms of public speaking. It's a role model in terms of, even writing. It's a role model in terms of the way the person behaves. It's a role model in the way the person preaches or whatever it is. So there's imitation of that person. But imitating that person doesn't mean that person can can give you guidance or direction in life. No. So a model is from a distance. You are admiring someone from a distance. A mentor, usually a one-on-one relationship, although you can have a group mentoring session, you can have distance mentoring, you can have all kinds of. But a role model certainly doesn't have to have a relationship with you. It doesn't even have to care. But you just see him from a distance and say, well, I like him as a role model. You can say Obama is a role model because of these reasons, but it's not your it's not your mentor. It's just like him. The way he speaks, the way he carries himself, the way he leads people. Yeah. Wow,
that's so good. Now, you said something very. I wrote here. Can mentorship is distance a barrier in picking a mentor? Do you have to have the one-on-one feel in picking a mentor? But you said you then answered it, there can be group mentorship. You don't have to know the person one-on-one and all. But does that mean that at least you should have one? Then how many mentors can you have? I know people have said you can have mentors in different areas of your life, but I'm just thinking sometimes, can't it be, so am I supposed to have 10 mentors?
Well, the distance is not a barrier to mentoring. And the way the world is today, you need to have a global village mentality. Everything has been integrated. So your mentor can be anywhere in the world. You can have conversations online and the rest of it. Even without, this facility. Just on the phone, you can discuss. So it's not a problem at all. Now, in terms of the number of mentors you can have, I think it's possible to have multiple mentors. It's even good, perhaps, because different people have different strengths.
Right.
And you may have a desire, for instance, your career, to have someone who has achieved a lot, let's say in banking.
Right.
And okay, this guy has achieved a lot. Why do I need to go through the same pain to be able to carry out my banking assignments or the career go on very well? I don't have to. So I can just call him. So you can have multiple mentors. You can have someone in leadership. You can have someone in the spiritual realm. You can have different types of people. But then don't overdo it. Because then the mentors are also expecting something from you. And also, I think the mistake most people may make is thinking that mentoring is also like coaching.
Wow. Please, can you explain that?
Yeah, you see, because the coach has specific role that is played. I used to think I was, coaching people. I was actually mentoring them until I found that when I went for the coaching academy training, I realized that coaching is different a lot from mentoring. People are very concerned about coaching, and people are concerned about mentoring. So they come to me saying that, I want to be mentored. My apologies.
No problem. It's fine. Absolutely fine.
Yes. So they want to have me as a coach, but what they're looking for really is a mentor. So I was mentoring them. What the coach does is to assist you as an individual to move from the point you are to the point you want to be, and helping you to find solutions. He's not going to give you solutions. He's not going to give you advice. No, the coach doesn't do that. A good coach would use what we call the growth model. Growth model, where it says the G or the goal, your reality, the options you have, and the way forward. So, but a good coach is consistently asking you questions and trying to bring out the giants in you. Okay, I want to be whatever. The question is, can you explain why you want to be?
Let's give an example. I want to be a consultant.
Okay, you want to be a consultant.
So a coach comes, like someone comes for coaching. So we're trying to differentiate coaching and mentoring. Yeah. So someone comes to you and say, I want to be a consultant. Yeah.
Yes, he wants to be a consultant. Okay, you want to be a consultant. Depending on the preamble, because a good coach wants the preamble.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to be a consultant. I'm careful not to tell you that it's good or bad. So I'm just going to ask you that, okay, you want to be a consultant. You must have a reason, I believe, for wanting to be a consultant. Can you explain it to me?
Right.
So you explain the reason. And from what you have said, I can take another step. So what do you think you need to do to become a consultant?
Right.
I can say, what do you want to achieve in the next 5 years, being a consultant?
Wow.
What sacrifice? I'm avoiding yes or no questions. So I'm asking you must have a reason. What benefits do you see? I won't say is it beneficial. What benefits do you see in being a consultant? Now, when you say consulting, what area of consulting do you want to have? And what is the driving force for this area? Are you willing to make this sacrifice? I can spend the next 2-3 hours with you, and I will make a statement on my own views, because we are different.
On your own view.
My own different. Whereas mentoring, you are seeing me as someone that is guiding you, someone that is showing you the way, someone that you are learning from. So you come with the challenges, which is also different from being a counselor, which is different from being a trainer.
Oh, wow.
Different from. But let's not go into all of that. Let's stick to mentoring.
Yeah.
So mentoring is different from coaching, yes.
I'm with you.
So I'm just saying that there's a distinction, and the moment you know what you're out there for, with someone, you cannot decide that you want to have a mentor, you want to have a coach, you want to have a counselor, maybe a therapist, you want to have, so they're not mentors, they're just professional roles. So I think that's
so for the mentorship is more. So what I was thinking about this is, do you have to have personal relationship with your mentor? There's a case of, I don't know how effective it is for you to just anybody to be your mentor. They exchange your number and that's it. So are you supposed to? I know you mentioned group mentorship.
Yeah.
Can you have a mentor where do you need to have personal relationship? Do I have to have the person's number? You know, I know Steve Harvey, like you said, I really love his journey in terms of presentation as a presenter, as a TV host, a radio host, and all of that. So I follow him closely. And there was a time he had this mentorship thing. But what he was doing was, we signed up for the mentorship. But I don't know Steve. Steve doesn't know me. But he sends videos weekly. We have online chats and all of that. Is that mentorship as well? Right? If that is mentorship, then do we still need the one-on-one? Where does the one-on-one come? How does it come in? Where the mentor knows you, you know your mentor. And is it everybody that will have such level of mentorship?
Well, the truth is, you can have group mentoring. So I'm not certain if you're the only one that he does that to. Maybe he has a group.
No. I said we all register. He doesn't know me. Like, I think around the world. So what he did is that he has a website. You just sign up. They are getting messages. It's not like it's specular. Oh, dear Missy, how are you? I mean, they can even use emailing, those networking stuff to do that. So like I'm saying that he doesn't know me. I don't know him personally. I don't have his number. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what he has done is what they call group mentoring.
Okay.
It's a group thing. So you can have 3 different types. You are either one-on-one with the person, where obviously you would need more details. It could be distance, you don't see the person one-on-one, it's at the far place. Or third, it can be group. So what you have with you is group. But, and that, you don't need the details, you don't need information, it's just from time to time. It's providing guidance, it's providing information that could be useful to you. If you know your area of interest, you can even tailor it to send material to different types of people. Maybe once a week, periodically, yes.
Yeah. So what about the one-on-one people? But people really want that one-on-one feel. Is it everybody? How do we go about that? Is that possible? Like, how do you then go about picking that kind? But I don't even get my question. People, okay, for instance, I get a message, I want you to be my mentor.
Yeah.
I probably don't know you. You don't know me. Well, you know me. I don't know you. Yeah. Now, I'm asking on behalf of mentors, how do you go about it? People reaching out to you to mentor them. How will you advise mentors to go about it? Especially if, imagine everybody now wants that personal, they want your number, they want your access. I'm still going to come about this whole two-way street of mentorship. Because you said something very powerful. Mentors expect something. We'll come to that. But let's start by saying, what will you say to mentors? How do you go about this whole mentorship thing? People want the one-on-one, and yeah.
What I would say, sincerely, is manage expectations for mentors.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's so easy to get carried away by everybody says, I want to be my mentor, I want to be my mentor. They are saying it from a position of admiration. But the last thing you want, yes, most of the time, they just admire your, the way you speak, your knowledge and all that. And they're expecting so much from you. What you don't want to do is to disappoint them. So up front, I would say that if anyone says he wants to be mentored, I can give my email address, I can give my, I can even give my phone number. I'll just say send a text, usually. I can give the information. Now, what I see is that in this world, there are different categories of people. There are people that are using the Pareto principle that I think are 20% in the world that are contributing 80% of the results. And you have a bell curve where you have 60% average, and of course 20%, on the other side. So when someone says, I want to be a mentor, I can tell you, out of 20 people that will say, I want you to be my mentor, maybe not more than 4 will follow. That's the Pareto principle. And out of the 4, you cannot test them by giving them some assignments, telling them to call you at a particular time, or do something, and half of the 4 will fall by the wayside. Because you see, what they're expecting is, most of the time, I want to be like you, I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, fine, you can do it. I would prefer you are even better than I am. But the first thing is, you must be disciplined.
Wow.
You must be disciplined. There's no way, no matter how skillful, knowledgeable you are, you must be disciplined. So if you don't have that discipline or focus, you can never be a good mentee. So for me, as a mentor, I'll manage expectations. I'll tell you that I'm quite busy. I may not be able to respond to your call, but I can respond to your email or text or WhatsApp message. I'll try to do that. And most of the time, you can just put in front of your name where we met. I mean, I've had, for instance, finished a program last week, and it's titled Pandemic Leadership Shift. So it's PLS. So when they call, anyone that sent a message to me, they just refer me to PLS. I sent a book to this afternoon just to make it different. I sent my book to him. He didn't even know, but I saw right from the class, I saw excellence. He didn't say be my mentor, funny enough, but he's been in contact with me. He's been pushing. He's been asking questions. He wants this. Okay, I said, well, you know what? I'll send a book to you. It was 3. Actually, I promised in the class that I will give him a gift because of his participation in the class. So it took me up on it, but I didn't forget. It took me up on it. I'll send the book to him. He's constantly in touch. For the past few days, it's like I've known him longer. So for me, I've already penciled him down without him knowing it. He has to be It's easy for me to relate to him because I don't have the time. See, don't get me wrong. I can sacrifice time to lift you up. Sacrifice time to make you a better person because it's God we're all reporting to. But please, if you don't want to be helped, it becomes difficult. So first of all, I'll manage your expectations. I won't promise anything. Then I'll look out for your level of seriousness. I'll look out for several things, and I try to encourage you. But after a while, I might just be a bit quiet and watch. But I'm there for you if you are willing to, get the assistance. You can be part of a group of mentees. I can, there's so many things I can do. I can invite you for my leadership classes on the platform every Tuesday. I can do so many things. Not my leadership, it's a church leadership program, but something I participate.
I get you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I really love that because now what you're saying, and I hope everybody's listening to this, because last year, let me give you a typical example. So last year I launched, because I've had this mentorship thing by the side, and last year I finally created a platform for mentors. I had the one-on-one mentorship. There were conditions, the different conditions, and general mentorship. Mr. Wright, like you said, people watched, registered, After a while, I can tell you maybe 5 will come for the calls, 2 will come for the calls and everything. So I think what you said in the beginning is really important. Most times what people see is admiration. Most times what people see is role model. And I think you don't need to contact all your role model, to be honest. You can learn from them. You can send them a message like, wow, this meant a lot to me. Or like what you said, there's another thing I see. Like for instance, let me give an instance of how when I met Mr. Wright, I didn't outrightly say, be my mentor. Because for me, it's not something I just want to say casually. I feel like there are words we've taken for granted and we've used casually without knowing the importance and the value of it. So it took time. I think it was about 2 years or so of knowing you, observing. I'm like, okay, I think I really want this person. And we had a conversation, almost like I was interviewing you, like what you said. And I was asking you questions. What do you think about mentorship? What are your expectations if you're mentoring someone? Just to see if it's something. So sometimes you might meet some people and all you want to do is ask them a question. They don't need to be your mentor. Just ask them a question or go for their event and all of that. Now, this brings me to the other question before we go to dealing with the emotional aspect of mentorship. You said something, mentors have expectation. Can you shed more light on that? So because sometimes people feel it's a one-way street. And I remember when we were speaking some days ago, you're like, let me see, it is two-way streets. Like if you didn't make use of whatever it is, almost like if you didn't put to practice what things we talk about, or how do we, what do you want to say about that, about expectation now on the side of, you are speaking to mentees now, because some people think you just come, you're my mentor. Can you help us explain this issue of expectation even from the side of the mentor?
Okay, I think the first thing is for people to recognize that life is a two-way street. Two-way street in the sense that you need to give before you receive. But in some situations, you receive and then you give.
Right.
You give in a dual perspective. You give to the person that are giving you and give to the world.
Right.
Like I said, I mean, a lot of people act like lakes. They take in the water and they don't let it go. Now, the two-way street, to keep the simplest form, is even if you don't want to assist any other person, your mentor is sacrificing time and energy. And your 10-year work experience is like 40 years working with your mentor. So
wow.
when you for a job, someone says, we want 10 years work experience. And you go to that room. So wait a minute, are you sure you only have 10 years? Yes, I only have 10 years. But I also have about 40 years additional. Because you have people with experience who have been teaching you, who are mentoring you. Now, let's cut
wow.
it. What I'm saying is this. Once you recognize that, you'll be the one taking initiative to push your mentor. You'd be the one in charge. You have what you can call sometimes toxic relationship develop because the mentor, who is probably not experienced, has high expectations, or he has not gone through the process of mentoring, which involves preparation in the first instance. You have to prepare to mentor someone or prepare to be mentored. You haven't gone through negotiation with that person, outlining the boundaries and expectations of this relationship. That you need to be. You see, I'm giving you this, but please, the only thing I'm asking of you is be willing to receive it. Because if you're not encouraging me to give it sincerely, I would have a challenge. Then what you now have is what you now call a stage of personal growth or engagement with that person. Engaging that person. But before you engage, on discussion, there's preparation. And there's negotiation. The boundaries, the question, the expectation. And then you get into the real thing. And of course, you have the closure. Let me just give an example. I mean, sincerely, you might wonder. I mean, I give you a lot of time in terms of mentoring. I mean, your questions and so on and so forth. And I do. I have a number of people. Even someone was, people are MDs and EDs, but it's not the same response I give to everyone. You, for instance, you showed that you meant everything you are saying. You showed ability, desire to succeed. I mean, GT Bank and all, obviously I've trained you very well, but there was a desire to succeed. And when you left eventually, I just said, okay, fine. But the point is, up till now, and what you told me just practically 2 days ago, that you have this.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Practically 2 days. No, it's okay. I said, okay, I'll make out time for you. Why? Because a good mentee, that's why I say it's a two-way street. A good mentee encourages the mentor to go the extra mile.
Wow.
And that's the point. So that's why it's a two-way street. We can say more about two-way street, but it's just a philosophy of mine that you give much more than you're receiving in life.
Wow.
And that way, you can have a negative net worth, but let's not go too far into that. Your assets must exceed your liabilities in life.
Wow.
Okay, but let's not go too much into that.
Sorry, sir. Please, quickly, before I ask the next question, please, can you just, for those of us, Mr. Wright you were formerly the MD of a bank at some point.
Yes.
You train, I remember when we had, we had a project in GT, right, that we did something that we believe was great. And we're almost bounced. And gosh, you went to appeal for us. You just came in like a father and everything, But you always say this thing about your assets must exceed your liability in life, and how you always encourage to give back, right? So I want to ask you, can you just shed light briefly on that for those that don't understand meaning? I mean, you didn't know us, all of us. Some other people will not get involved. You came for our dry runs more than ever. It wasn't a competition for you. It was just like you wanted to see us become the best, right? And even when, so you just kept giving. I mean, you've done what you should do. You've trained us. I mean, Ula, you've passed your exam by. But you still kept your doors open for some of us that wanted to just keep engaging. So can you explain to us on that asset should be more than liability in terms of how you keep giving back more than you receive? Yeah.
It can be complicated, but let's keep it simple.
Yes, sir.
Happiness does not come from where we look for it.
Wow.
We're looking for happiness based on what we can get from the world.
Wow.
If your orientation, Yes, don't get me wrong. Have a goal in life. Try to be focused and achieve. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of vanity in so many things. And life can be meaningless if it's just about what you can get. You see, whatever you take out of life is a liability. Whatever you give is an asset. For the account,
Wow.
they know that assets minus liabilities is your net worth.
Net worth, yeah.
Yeah. So let me just make it practical. Someone becomes a governor of a state. When he becomes a governor of a state, what does he think? What would he think?
What will I think?
Yes. What would he jump?
I'll jump with the guy and blow.
Yes. Okay, fine. However, I say to you, and I will say it even to the Senate or governors, when you accept that position, you are elected into the office, it's a liability.
Yeah, actually.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because people have put their trust in you to deliver for them. So you have a liability, and the more you do not perform, the liability increases. But when you start performing and doing things expected of that position, you build up your assets.
Wow.
Are you getting my point? So it's a balance sheet of life. Balance sheet of life means if I give you $1 million today, you haven't done anything to earn it. I just want to help you.
Thank you, sir. I was so glad to receive it.
Amen. So $1 million, sincerely, to you, any other person, so that person is a liability in the balance sheet of life.
Wow.
It's a liability because you are supposed to use that money to be a blessing. That's what I believe. So that philosophy of life means that you should do much more at every point of your life, much more than you expected to do. All right, or you are being paid to do, because someday it will appear as if you are being paid much more
than
you are doing. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
That is,
wow.
You are given, you are being paid 100,000 naira or 10,000 naira, whatever. Let's say 100,000 naira at your place of work. I'm being paid 100,000 naira at my place of work. They're not paying me much. I'm supposed to be paid 500,000. And you go every single day to work with that kind of mentality, you're a loser.
Wow.
What makes you a winner is to say, okay, I'm being paid 100,000, but I know my value. My core competence is not as great as my core giftedness. So what they're paying me for is what they see as my core competence, but I know I'm gifted. So I'll give you $1 million naira for the 100,000 you're paying me. You owe me. But someday in the future, someone will see you and they'll be looking for someone to poach. And they see that this person who is poachable in this organization, I think you should take him. And the person pays you 1.5. He pays you 1.5, I give you 3 million naira.
Wow.
So when you were in the class the other time, the group of you, I can go to bed, I can just sleep and not bother about you, sincerely. And nobody will do anything. But if I'm free and I can add value, the incentive for me is that 10 years time, 5 years time, I see you, I want people to say you are one of the best bankers in the world. Why? Because you've been properly trained. But then I'm building my assets. And if you have been you gain so much from me, you may as well go out there and pass it on. Apart from the fact that you're encouraging me based on your own brilliance out of the training. We can go on and on.
Wow, that's so good. Sir, right? That's so good. Like, my notes is like, wow, that's so good. The ability of life and assets you must give. I remember that's one of your favorite quotes you always say to us in class. Work more than what you're being paid. There's someday you'll be paid more than the work it will appear like you're being paid more than what, even though you keep increasing your assets as well. Now, somebody asked a very fantastic question, and I want us to really now dive into the practicality of this. Someone said, do you have to be mentored? Must you be mentored?
Well, sincerely, you don't have to be.
Yeah.
It helps to be. It helps. You don't have to be. There are people, permit me to go spiritual. For me,
by all means.
For me, sincerely, the greatest mentor is Jesus Christ. But what we see Jesus Christ is a role model, not the mentor, most of us. So,
oh wow.
So if the role model, I'm a Christian, no. Don't stop there. Have a relationship with him so he can teach you through the power of the Holy Spirit to be a better person. But moving that out, you don't have to be mentored by men, sincerely. You don't have to be. It's essential. It helps because, yes, you want to interact on the spiritual level, I know, but you may not be cut out to do that effectively as some other people would. So you have someone here in front of you that can speak to you and help you and avoid the mistakes he has made or she has made. I've made many mistakes. I've made many mistakes. And of course, I've had my achievements. I thank God the achievements are greater than mistakes, and I thank God for it. You know, but nobody's perfect. So my imperfections and my failings, I didn't say failure, my failings can be used to help other people. So from that perspective, I think I would advise that you get a mentor.
Wow.
Sincerely. But you don't have to.
You don't have to. All right, Mr. Wright. So we're going to go to the next question, right? Someone is saying, can you mentor an atheist? Like someone that is not of your faith.
Yes. Yes, I can.
Yes, you can. All right, that's fine.
I can. But I also want to put a note of warning here. Like I said, mentoring has a process: preparation, negotiation. You're preparing, you're asking questions, onboarding, and so on and so forth. And we can agree that issue of religion may be very sensitive to him, or spirituality. So if that's what you want us to discuss, so the question is, what do you want me to do in that perspective? To convince you why you shouldn't be an atheist? Or to convince you? So I have to get it right. And we not go the boundaries. But I can mentor an atheist, sincerely. I can mentor a Christian. I don't really, it doesn't matter to me.
Wow, so good. All right, thank you so much, sir. So now I'm going to ask this question. Someone was saying, you mentioned something about preparing to be mentored. We'll go to that later. But first, I want to ask, for instance, I would say mentors, like, they also create opportunities. I remember when I just left the bank, and it was weird because I just left, and I called you like, hello, sir, I'm out of the bank. I'm like, oh, really? I'm actually going back to trade. Do you want to come? I'm like, wow. You really have so much trust. Can you tell us, because Ayomegwakwe said the same thing yesterday. I know he has something to do also with your spirituality, your walk with God, which gives you the discerning to discern and know things and all of that. But how do you see gold in people? I mean, we're a lot of people in the class, and I know you still keep in touch. Some people might still keep in touch. A lot of people have met you, but what was intriguing for me was someone that met you 15 years ago. And she said, a story, I met you 6 years ago and I have my story. It's similar, like, oh my God, how have you been able, and so different people have sent me a message, how have you been able to constantly, right, in spite of your mistakes, like you said, your failings and all of that, how have you been able to constantly remain a person of value that sees gold in people?
Again, it's been a learning organization, being like a learning individual. Well, learning organization, fifth discipline and all. They're constantly learning. And I must confess, I mean, it's not even a confession, it's something that, it's not a secret, but it's probably to my colleagues. I pray. Anytime I'm going to a crowd, I pray. And I can, so many things have happened. I'm talking about praying on the premises.
Oh, wow.
Not even, I pray and I invite the Holy Spirit. And that's the truth. And every time, I mean, I can give you so many stories of people who probably think you have some extraordinary power and all that stuff. Matching people who I didn't know them before the class and saying something about each person that matched. And someone that was on alcohol, I was given a description and I said, see, I had a boss who would bring whiskey into the room, into the office, and he would pretend as if the whiskey is coffee or something, until someone stumbled on the on the coffee or the whatever, you know. So the brandy.
Wow.
And of course, and the person now came up to me and said, "Why are you making fun of me?" That's exactly what he does, and he's been doing it for 25 years.
Wow.
And of course, I said, I didn't know that you're doing it. Said, but that's what I've been doing.
Wow, the Holy
And
Spirit.
my wife has tried everything that she could do. I said, are we willing to change? It was a 5-day program. At the end of 5 days, he gave his life to Christ. Now,
wow.
And he said, he's the happiest person. Yeah, because I told him we had a lot of substitution, where I said he should continue doing the same thing because he was bringing it to the class also. But in terms of instead of the brandy, pour Coke, Fanta, water, whatever, and we drink at the same time. The first day, he said he couldn't sleep. I said, you won't be, don't worry. Second day, he came back, we prayed, and on the last day, he said he's willing to give it to us. We prayed there. So what am I saying? There's so much power there. Please don't get me wrong on all of this. This is practical. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say, oh, you do this. You have to be this, or you're a heavy prayer warrior. No. It's just that prayer helps you to see the good in people, because there are so many things happening in the world that can let you see the negative every time you wake up. You meet someone, and the person is well attired. For the first thing you see is he's trying to show off, or she's trying to show off. Someone says something. Your interpretation is based on your experiences and the conditioning of your mind. All right? The conditioning of your mind. So you have to continuously refresh, redo, recalibrate, do everything to make sure this mind is not stale. But you will not be able to see the good if you're looking for the bad.
Wow.
If you want to see the good in every single person, as you're looking at me now, I'm looking at you. What you just want to see is she's brilliant, she's this, she's that. So the same method I could see the ugliness in a beautiful setting.
Wow.
You see, I mean, you know that picture, like show the old woman and the young woman, that's the picture, the same picture. You say, what can you see?
Okay.
So, if you now look at people, you make up your mind that today, by God's grace, I want to see the good in people. And the ones that manifest the bad, I will not be discouraged with them. By them.
Wow.
I will be a lifter. Rather than downer. I will be a lifter. I will help you. Although I'm going through my own stress, my own challenges, I will help you. Because for a reason, I know you may not be able to handle the stress you have very well. I know. So, of course, but my loved ones are close to me, my family, my wife, my children. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but what goes through my mind is she needs help. She needs help. The person needs help. Or finally, a fantastic thing you've done. Oh, beautiful, wonderful. Da, 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 da. So I just say to yourself, what have I done that is extra? But what I'm seeing is what I want to see. Because I don't have time. I don't have time, sincerely. We don't have time. You live to be 100 years. You live to be 100 years. So how many years are you doing your work? About 40
Are you effective?
About 40 years of work. Because the remaining 60 years, you're either sleeping, commuting, doing some things that are not. So 100 years is about 40 years. You can do the calculation later. But so it's what you want to see in life that you get.
Oh, wow. So good. So that brings us to the next question as we start to wrap up. How do you spoke about even when some people now manifest the bad, as a mentor or mentee, how do you manage the situation of being of pain or being hurt or disappointment by this issue of mentorship? How do you handle that? Maybe people have been mean to you, a mentor or a mentee, abuse privilege or hurt you. How do you, I don't know if you've been there. How do you move on? How do you get over that, either as a mentor or as a mentee, and learn to trust again?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult because I would call it power abuse. Because you see, the role of a mentor is a very powerful one. But the person, most of the time, there's dependency. Although really what it should be like a two-way street. It should be interdependency,
Yeah.
not independency. What do I mean? You can easily hurt someone who expects a lot from you. And there could be several ways of hurting the person. You want to take advantage of that person. You want to disregard that person. You want to not follow up on what you promised to do. There are so many ways. Because a mentor must have almost like larger than life qualities. Don't get me wrong, it's not larger than life qualities in dealing with the mentee. Because the mentee is laying his or her life and said, putting everything across to you and saying, please help me. And now the person feels disappointed. However, if the person feels disappointed, maybe there are two things. Seek, at least Stephen Covey's advice, seek first to understand before you understood. Every single person in this world is going through one thing or the other.
Right.
It's not what they are going through that matters. It's the way they handle what they are going through.
Right.
So the fact that the person is your mentor, for instance, doesn't mean that it's God.
Absolutely.
So the mentor can make mistakes. It may be coming from a customer presentation that has gone bad, or even fantastic, or whatever it is. But he's excited to the extent of forgetting about you. He's down,
wow,
forgetting about you. So, and he has several mentees who are on his neck or her neck. So, for a particular period, he may be having challenges at home, or his finances, his health. So he now happened to call at a time that he had promised, he had said you should call. But he's not in a good mood. Although I would say mood is usually being mad over odd desires. You are mad.
Wow.
Is it
mad over over odd desires.
No. That's what I say. Because really, when you're moody, you're not in control.
Yeah.
So get out of it, and do something better with your life. So you're in a mood, but you can fall into a mood, and the person calls, and you snap at the person. Yeah, my mentor is upset with me. No. Seek first to understand the person. The same reverse. The mentee, the mentor should also seek to understand the mentee, because the mentee may not have done what you are supposed to do. What you should do is to learn the art of communication, inquiry. Ask the mentee. You are supposed to submit this last week. You are supposed to do some work before we meet. You haven't done it. Is there any reason? What are the reasons? Don't ask a close question. What are the reasons? Oh, no reason. I just apologize. I'm sorry. I forgot. And please encourage truthfulness. I forgot. I'm sorry. But if he does it once, twice, 3 times, you can get a bit further. So, but the first thing is, please, we should not be judgmental. We should not judge people. We should wait and find out. Of course, if it's an aggressive hurt, the person does something to you physical, that's a different dimension entirely.
Right.
That certainly brings an end to the whole relationship. Don't get me.
Oh, wow.
It does.
Wow.
It does. But even at that, you can now find yourself not closing the door and saying, so this guy has a problem, or she has a problem, or whatever it is. You know what? I'll pray for you. Or I'll do this for you. You've been so good to me. You'll be so good to me, and I appreciate what you've done. But I think this is not so unexpected of you. Oh, sorry, don't go there. Don't say you are judging the person. Is there any reason why you've done this? That is, you don't tell. See, there's a difference in what I'm saying. You don't tell people sometimes, particularly the mentor mentee. You ask questions, and in responding, we now see the fallacy or the mistakes he or she has made.
All right. So we have 5 more minutes. But Mr. Wright, can I beg for a favor? Yes. In case we time out, we'll come back briefly to wrap up in 10. So instead of 60, we'll do 70 in case we time out, because I have 2 more questions.
Right.
How do you overcome insecurity? As I think that's a lot. How do you overcome insecurities as a mentor? You're mentoring somebody and the person is doing well. The person is blowing in quotes. The person is like going like speed of light, two things happen. The person remembers, or the person doesn't even remember you anymore, disregard you, and that's the end. How do you deal with insecurity? You know, because I remember one day I was asking you a question, and he said, I was asking you, why do you feel free to share almost like things? And he said, because the world is now like information, knowledge. People can get information and knowledge and all. And I was like, okay, so how do you deal with the fact that maybe, or have you dealt with the fact of insecurities, basically? Yeah, that's my question.
Insecurity sincerely comes from identity.
Wow.
What defines you? Is it, what's your security, your guidance, your wisdom and power? Where does it come from? Is it the fact that, okay, yes, I'm a mentor. Oh, I'm this, I'm the boss. No, 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 no. If your life is about principles, some of those you mentioned, you see the fact, I mean, I have my purpose, I have my principles of life and all that. So I'm not defined by my role, my assets, what I have. Yes, don't get me wrong. Everybody wants to live a comfortable life. You want to be in a powerful position. You want to be the boss. You want to be this and all. But sincerely, life is much more than that. So the issue of the book that you spoke about, the chapters of the book of life, the mentor-mentee relationship is part of a chapter in my book. So from that perspective, I'm looking at my book of life holistically. I'm looking at my book of life holistically. So I do not want to spoil my book of life by one chapter.
Wow.
So if I have a situation where I feel I'm afraid about this insecurity, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not every time that I'm so confident. Yes, I can deal with this. I mean, if the president of a country says, yes, you know, I heard about you, and I think I would like you to be my mentor, because I'm just 45 now, but I heard about you, Nigerian consultants, and how you mentor people, and they've changed, they've made successes in life. And a good friend of mine, you mentored him, and he said this to me. Of course, the first 5 minutes, I feel insecure because, you know, that, wait a minute, you are the president. You've been voted by millions of people. So yeah, I'm not even, you know, I won't be able to. So that could be a bit of insecurity. Don't get me wrong. It's not the fact. It's not it's not the challenge we have in our personalities or character. It's our ability to quickly bounce back and to say, well, okay, I have a compass. I know who I am. I have my identity. I'm not defined by you, sir. I'm here in this world to be a helper, a builder, to get people to succeed. I'm not going to go out there and say, well, you know, the president of XYZ country is my mentee. No, I won't say so. Of course, if I say so, there's a reason to say so you can convince another president to be my mentee. You know? So it's what you call the humility. Humility doesn't come easily. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. You know, maybe going back to spirituality, the fruits of the spirit. It can't come because I want to be humble. It can't come because my identity, insecurity. It cannot come. It comes because of what is inside of me that lets me reflect certain behavior. And I'm not there yet, but I know that I'm also there, in a way.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm so grateful. That was just so powerful. I'm sure we have more questions, but thank you. Our time is up right now. Thank you for having this session with us. I'm so grateful. God bless you, Mr. Wright. Thank you. I look forward to doing this again with you. Thank you. Because we have more questions to ask.
Thank you for inviting me, and keep up your good work.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm grateful. So guys, there you've heard it. I'll do a recap on my page as well and just share with everybody about mentorship. Don't just pick people because they are role models. Be very detailed. Know what you want, know where you're going. And like you said, it's start to do like the interview from afar, weighing, okay, what's this person? Can this person do? Is there compatibility in terms of values? And, you know, and pick carefully who your mentors are, you know, and it's a two-way street. You must ensure that you go through the process of preparation, negotiation, and closure, you know, conversing on what you want, discussing how you would want, preparing to be mentored and preparing to mentor people, and then negotiating the boundaries, what are the things, and of course, closure. and measurement.